As we continue with some of our recognitions tonight, as most of you know, we've had special guests, Bill Hayes with us tonight, his wife. They've been here the entire time and taken in a lot of music and enjoyed being with us, and we've enjoyed having you so much. And Joanne Bozeman and Ken are here, and Joanne has a few words to say about Bill. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Hello, it's not toggling the way we're supposed to. No, that's not it. There we go. There we go. And that's in the wrong place. Whoops.
Sneak previews. There you are.
There we go.
I really appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about my uncle, singer-actor Bill Hayes. And I'm sure that each of us has some kind of mentor, somebody who inspired them in their lives, and I'm just very happy that I can celebrate with all of you on his behalf. It's been great to have them with us this weekend. They are very happy with singers, and they're very happy with opera and all those wonderful things. And it was just great to see the fourth prize, the Bill Hayes Prize in Musical Theater, presented on Saturday night. So this gentleman is 91 years young, and he's had a 70-year career approximately. And it's very hard to summarize his career. I walked up to him and I said, "Uncle Bill, you're so old, and you've done so much." So I'm going to do my best here to give you some highlights. It's been interesting to put this together during the convention, but I also realized that there were some really nice themes that popped out from the convention that kind of echo his career and his life. So he's a Chicagoland boy. He was born in Harvey, Illinois, just south of here. He was the second of three boys, born into a very musical household. He played the violin, and he sang in a quartet with my grandpa, my dad, and my Uncle Phil. After serving in the Navy at the end of World War II, he scored an audition for the first Broadway touring company of Carousel for its Chicago run. He made the chorus, and then was seriously bitten by the musical theater bug. Colleagues in the show advised him to learn to project his singing voice better. And this was long before we had amplification in musical theater. The GI Bill paid for his master's degree in voice at Northwestern University. Yeah. Professor John Toms gave him a lesson every day for 18 months. Yeah, and together they built a robust and stylistically versatile tenor voice strongly rooted in classical technique. So Karen Brunson, where are you? We got to find out who this guy was, because he did a good job. Clearly a very good teacher. So at lunch the other day, I mentioned to Uncle Bill that it was really terrific that we're in Chicago, because this is where he started out. Early family life, schooling, and career. And I asked him about some professional things that he did in the late 1940s before he went to New York. So right out of his head, right on the spot, he started listing a string of gigs, including oratorio jobs, a temple choir job, singing on early TV, on radio station WGN. I can't name all of them here, but I found myself thinking while he's naming dates, venues, conductors, other singers, and actors that he worked with. And I cannot even remember where the bathrooms are here at the hotel. The job that captured my imagination the most was his singing at the Tip Top Tap Ballroom on the 23rd floor of the Allerton Hotel, just a few blocks north of here on Michigan Avenue, for the Don McNeil Breakfast Club radio show. I actually walked down there to just kind of go in and feel it out. And now I have to go to a little piece of vocal history that a lot of you will appreciate, I think. So about the same time that Uncle Bill was commuting to school and singing jobs all over the Chicago area, a young 4-year-old Susan Seaforth in Los Angeles got a really cool job singing with appearing with the Metropolitan Touring Company that was doing Madame Butterfly. She got to play the role of Trouble, who is, of course, the child of Cho-Cho San and Pinkerton. And her Chocho sons included Dorothy Kirsten and Eleanor Stieber. So she said it was really something to have those voices while she was being embraced on stage. Anyway, back to Bill. During this time, his family was growing. Of course, this was the baby boom. And by the early 50s, he was able to move his family to New York, where eventually he was cast in early television's pioneering variety program, Your Show of Shows. His co-stars were Sid Caesar, Imogene Coca, and other fine entertainers. The writers included Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks. And the show featured singers from the Metropolitan Opera, including Robert Merrill, Marguerite Piazza, Jan Pierce, and Patrice Munsell. Uncle Bill got to sing in operatic ensembles with them, along with popular song standards, jazz tunes, folk songs, operetta. He danced and he did comedy skits. I wish I could go back in time and just sit in that audience and watch that unfold. Eventually, he caught the attention of Broadway producers and auditioned for Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein. He was cast as the stage manager for their new show, Me and Juliet, which ran for about a year on Broadway. Though not as well known as other Rodgers and Hammerstein classics, it's full of great tunes, by the way. And The Big Black Giant can be found in Hal Leonard's musical theater anthology for tenor voice, Volume 1. Check it out. And the original soundtrack is actually still available online. So, how to summarize the rest of the years until today? It's really kind of impossible, but here's my attempt to do so. Bill Hayes' career featured nearly every musical and theater medium during that time. Musical theater, straight theater, operetta, radio, commercial recordings, television, cabaret, industrial musicals. A lot of those he did with Florence Henderson, who we honored a couple years ago, and movies. He recorded over 200 single releases, including his most famous, Davy Crockett. And he says that it was recorded in one take. The whole process took one day. Yeah, he got the song like in the morning or something, learned it in the afternoon, they got together at the studio, they did one take, one track, that was it.
Gold record album.
Gold record, yeah. So, and he also did other full record albums. Bill's credits include over 50 roles in musical theater and nearly as many in straight theater productions. In musicals, his roles include many Golden Age standards, you know, ones from Carousel, Oklahoma, and later the classics of the early 60s. He sang both tenor and baritone roles. Through the following decades, Bill continued to build his credits, and remarkably, in his early 80s, he performed the tap dancing role of Billy Flynn in Chicago. He still goes to tap class twice a week, and you got to go to the...
That one's out of order somewhere. Where is,
there it is. Okay, I like that one. There he's tap dancing with his great-grandchildren. Is that who that is? Great-grandchildren. And that was just a couple of weeks ago. As you can imagine, Bill was on the road a great deal. Eventually, family needs required that he stay in one location. So in 1970, he accepted the role of Doug Williams on the daytime television drama Days of Our Lives. This began a remarkable new phase of his career. Bill was an immediate hit with the audience. No wonder. He eventually married his popular co-star on the show, Susan Seaforth Hayes, and they still... Where are they?
That one?
Nope, there's more.
It's out of order.
No. Okay, we're good. Okay. Anyway, they still appear frequently on the series, and I also learned that nowadays on soap operas, that you show up with your lines memorized, blocking memorized, and you tape. There's no rehearsal anymore, so that's pretty cool. Bill is still singing in church choir, and he and Susan have plans to perform the play Love Letters in the near future, so the career continues. At this point, I would like to muse a little bit about the influence that my uncle has had on me. There we go. Okay. You got to enlarge it. Make it bigger. There we go. Okay. So this was taken in 1961 near Denver when he was on tour with the National Bye Bye Birdie touring company, playing Albert. I had just turned 7, and yes, there's 3 teeth missing. Missing? I got it right, missing. And the handsome dude in the cowboy hat is my uncle. we were on a camping trip with my family, and Uncle Bill came up to our campground for a picnic dinner. Later, my folks took us to see the show down in Denver, and I have really vivid memories of that production, and including going to the stage door afterwards and seeing the guy that played Birdie, Conrad Birdie, and just running to him and wrapping my arms around his legs passionately, like the kids in the show did. And other than that, seeing his shows and all that, his recordings, the beautiful singing, really beautiful musicality, filled our home when I was young. Like the soundtrack of my youth influenced my development as a young singer. And I was lucky enough to see a number of productions that he was in, and that certainly sparked my love of musical theater. Yesterday we heard Warren Jones really effectively help singers develop text naturally, understandably, and elegantly. And this was a hallmark of Bill Hayes' singing, no matter what the genre. Other characteristics that I'm very happy to report are dedication to his family. That's an older picture. There are more now, actually. And also this, I said clear-eyed professionalism, just straightforward, not a fussy guy, just, very, very nice to work with, is what we understand. And an ongoing curiosity about history, language, and culture. I've lost track of how many grandchildren and great-grands there are. Oh, I should mention, he has a doctorate in education from the University of Virginia, and he did this while he was continuing with his amazing career. He and Susan have written 2 books together and are currently working on a 3rd. So I'll come around to the themes of his life that I've heard echoed here at this fabulous conference. A dedicated and skilled teacher helped Bill hone his technique so that he could healthily and flexibly move between genres. And one of the themes of this conference is this critical priority for singing teachers today. In performance, we must clearly deliver the text and communicate. Finally, we must cultivate a driving curiosity, never stop learning, and we must never stop singing. So thank you, Uncle Bill, for being an inspiration to me, my husband, and a lot of other people.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is such a special night for me. I have 4 quick things that I'd like to say. 69 years ago, exactly at this moment, I was in Carousel over here at the Schubert Theater, Monroe Street. It was my first job getting paid as a singer and actor, $70 a week. It was nice of you to give me some Carousel music this week as a reminder. On Friday night, or Friday during the day, we heard Mr. Snow. On Saturday, we heard What's the Use of Wonderin', Soliloquy, and If I Loved You. And then last night, we heard When You Walk Through a Storm. I enjoyed that. Teachers of voice, I would like to say thank you for what you do. You do not create chaos in the world. You do not create heartache in the world. You create art, artistry, and beauty. And I appreciate that. I admire what you do. I discovered that every voice lesson is different. Every one. Every person is different. Every voice is different. And as the lessons go on, the person is on a different place on his path or her path. Every lesson is different. What a challenge. What a wonderful thing that you have to put yourself through to attain that. I found out how hard you work one time, 50 years ago. One semester in 1966 in the spring, Dr. Roger Miller, Dean of the Music School at Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois, invited me to replace a member of his voice faculty for one semester. The man was going on a sabbatical for one semester, and I wanted to be with my family, and for personal reasons, I accepted the job. It was not financial reasons. I made $1,000 a month for 4 months. That did not add up, but I learned at that time very quickly how hard you work. My job included 18 voice students. I gave an acting class to the 18 voice students. I appeared with all the performing groups, the student performing groups at the school, and I directed the student musical, which was the Student Prince, which I had just done the previous year. I did a tour of Student Prince. And you want a challenge? Sing the Student Prince sometime. It's quite a challenge. And I learned very quickly how hard you work. I just admire so much. It's very vivid to me, my time there. It's the only time I've tried to teach. But the students are all in my head. I had a wonderful 2 ladies who sang the flower duet from Butterfly. The whole scene was just gorgeous. I had one young girl who learned a Russian song, a Rachmaninoff song, for her grandmother, and there were tears at the recital when she sang that. How memorable. I had one coloratura who knew every coloratura number ever written, and she sounded like an old flute. It was difficult to figure out what she should sing. She knew all the coloratura things, and her teacher, who I was replacing for that one semester, had told her, never sing in your chest voice, never. It will ruin your upper voice. So I had her sing a Richard Strauss song, and she had a glorious bottom voice. It was just beautiful. Her upper voice was awful. I remember Dan Sass, who was a tall bass baritone with a round, wonderful sound, and he had a speech difficulty. He stuttered. He insisted on introducing every song he sang, and he stuttered all through the introduction. But when he started to sing, there was never any stutter. And he did a graduate recital, and I remember him saying, I want to put a little bit of opera in there. And we had him do the cloak aria from Bohème, and he did La Colugna. It was wonderful. He was a good actor, and it was wonderful. Well, it's all very vivid in my mind, and I just wanted to say from that I learned how challenged you are every time you start a lesson, and I sure appreciate what you do. Third thing is to NATS, thank you. Thank you, Alan, for inviting me here. You've treated me like somebody, and I really appreciate that. It was an honor to have a Bill Hayes Fund created. It was an honor to present a prize to Kayla Wilkins, if she's here, congratulations. It was a thrill to me to present that, and I'll be watching you. Thank you, NATS. I have one more thing to say. This is July 11th. On July 11th, 1943, I was in the Navy Air Corps. And on July 11th, 1943, Susan Seaforth was born. And hearing you all sing last night, You'll Never Walk Alone, and I could have danced all night, I thought I would invite you to sing along with me and just sing Happy Birthday to Susan, and I'll close. This is my grand finale. So, any high C's? Go for it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susan. Yay! Happy birthday to you. Thank you all.
One coincidental fact about Kayla winning the prize the other night is that she was actually named, apparently, after Kayla, who was a child character on Days of Our Lives, a teen character and a child. So her mother named her after the character on Days of Our Lives. So it's quite coincidental that she was actually the winner of the first Bill Hayes Prize. Well, we have a few people just to recognize, and we have several members of our board who are finishing their terms and rotating off our board. And, you know, board service is something that really truly is service.